Welcome back to Automotive Electronics. What do we got today? We got us a, what kind of Winstar is this, Ryan?
2000 Ford Winstar.
2000 Ford Winstar. And it's seen its better days. So this thing, the reason the lens is off of it, we have the vehicle out there. I'll just explain how to get it out of the vehicle in case you don't know. Alright, so you take the bezel off, which is a bunch of screws. You'll have to find all the screws and take the screws out. I believe they're 7mm screws. And then you'll get down and you'll have these 4 screws in here that hold the cluster in. But to get this cluster out, you're going to have to remove 3 T15s up here, 2 here, and I believe 2 here, and get the lens off first, because you got to remove this Prindle section here. And you can take it off on the steering column, but that's a hell of a lot more work. I think you guys would rather just take the lens off and then remove this. Again, if you're doing this repair, you're going to be taking the lens off anyway, so that's the way to go. Alright, when you get this thing out, we already replaced one of the needles on this because this needle was broken. It was snapped off right there. I'm not sure how that happened, but motor looks pretty good. They all seem like they're acting normal, other than that needle was broken. And what other complaints did he have on this one, Ryan?
Maybe a few lights were out, I think.
The lights are all working. Anyway, got some more T15s in the back here. 2 here, 1 there, 2 up here. And then you get this off. Then you're going to have these little brown cables here. These things just pull off. I've already pulled them off, so we don't have to waste time, and the video doesn't have to get to be 30, 40, 50 minutes long. Probably will be anyway. Not usually anything wrong with this subboard. You know, there's a relay in here. I'm not sure what the relay's for. Never had to replace it. Never had an issue with it. They're getting older though, so you never know. Usually what we find is either cracks in these pins where these connectors apply. You'll either find cracks here, or where these ribbon cables connect, you'll find cracks here. So let's get over on the other bench and we'll see what we can find. Actually, we're just going to go straight under the microscope. We're going to have to get the microscope up and running first. Here we go. So I'm going to be looking at these header pins and seeing if we got any cracking going on there. Don't see anything really going on here. Whoa. Knocked that all out of whack. Alright. And I'm not sure if that's a crack or not, but if it's pretty superficial if it is. Nothing. And I think we've gone all the way to the end. Let's see what we can find on these pins on the bottom section. Nothing there. Let's get over on this other section here. You get a little better focus going on here. Uh-oh. Yeah, we're starting to see some stuff now. Pin feels solid, but I see some halos going on around these. See if we could get in a little tighter, focus a little better. Yeah, definitely got cracks going on. They get just right there on the end. And I'll show you a down and dirty method to this. Okay, if this is all you got, it's all you got. Stick your soldering iron on there. Well, if it'll ever get hot. Well, the down and dirty method ain't gonna work because it ain't working. Alright, so we're gonna have to add some solder. Alright, that one's fixed. That one's fixed. That one's fixed. That one doesn't look like it was ever broke. Anyway, you guys get the point. There's not much to it other than that. Let's switch you over to a wider angle view. And I'll just zoom in a little bit here so y'all can see what's what. I'll try to do this and stay in the camera field. I have a real bad habit of getting out of the field of view of the camera when I'm zoomed in trying to show you with this camera. But it's a whole lot quicker for me. So we're going to do all these headers. You can definitely see a better frame of reference as to where I'm working on the board this way without being under the microscope. We're just doing the same process that you saw underneath the microscope for all of those pins. And we're going to go ahead and hit these other pins. Not because there's anything visually wrong, but just because you might as well. Getting down pretty low on my solder. This is usually where I burn the hell out of my hand, or my fingers. Ryan, go see who's calling. Don't answer it, just see who's calling. Who?
Frank's Chad. Frank's Chad.
Okay. I'll call him back in a minute. Sometimes I just solder a bunch of stuff. Anything I'm seeing that don't look right, I just resolder it. Alright, we're going to go over all these pins as well to the headers because I have seen them give up before. So we'll just go over these. You're not adding a whole bunch of solder on these, just a little touch on all of these pins, even the previous ones that I did. You're not resoldering it like I want to say you're not resoldering it for strength. You kind of are, but you're kind of not. It's more for a connection. You shouldn't be using solder like you would when you're welding a I-beam to a tractor or something. Just want to make the connection. That's the goal. You know, if it holds up, it holds up, and if it doesn't, you have to come back and do this again. I guess none of this stuff is going to hold up forever. It's not like you're welding steel here. There are definitely some tricks to soldering. This is got a flux core solder, so it has the flux you need inside the core of the solder, and you can just depend on that if you work quick enough. The longer you spend on it, the more you need additional flux, because that's what flux does, is it gives you more time, more work time. More work time accomplishes a lot of things. It allows you to transfer more heat into a component. It allows the solder to flow better because it transfers the heat around better. Solder will typically flow where it's supposed to flow instead of going places where you don't want it. Some of these pins, you'll notice, take longer to solder than others. That's usually because that pin is connected to a ground plane, and a ground plane will dissipate the heat more readily. So it takes a little longer to get the heat sufficient on a ground pin through a ground plane, connected to a ground plane. So I didn't see any problem with these, but we did them anyway. Just covering our bases, hedging our bets, blah blah blah. I'll go ahead and hit these. These big components that are coming through the board, they're going to deal with more vibration and be subject to cracking. This must be on the ground plane because it's being a pain in the butt. So this is where you'd want to use a little flux. Yeah, that one's really a pain in the butt. The other thing, when you're on something like that, it's obviously on a ground plane, you get a bigger tip, and once you get a bigger tip, you transfer more heat. So, yeah, now that one's easy. That's the problem with the bigger tip, though. You tend to bridge things. I'm pretty adept at clearing bridges, but you don't, you soldering all these pins next to each other, you definitely don't want to bridge the pins. They're separate for a reason. If you're not comfortable with this stuff, my advice is find somebody that is. I'm available. Anybody that does speedometers for a living should be able to handle this. I would stick to speedometer shops that actually have a storefront. Guys working out of their home and off eBay and stuff. I mean, yeah, there's some good ones. I'm not going to say there's not, but I'd be a little leery of that if I was a customer. Okay, I think we pretty much got everything we need to get. Should be good. Let's get this back together. Alright, so we got our board seated on there, and this board's going to come back and seat on top of that one. It's got little spacers. Then we're going to get our plugs back on. This is where we found the crack, was up in this area. Alright, it's in place. Get our screws back in it. We'll head back out to the vehicle. And I'll have to get my cell phone out to do the rest of this video because we'll have to be mobile. Sound quality is going to change. It's either going to get louder or softer because I don't have my fancy DJI mics. I still hear something rattling in there. I'm not sure. It's probably the other tip of that needle that we had to replace, but I can't find it. Where the hell is that? I'm going to get a little rag and some of this dust off of here. We get out there with the and put it in. If I get any footage from out there, we're gonna, you'll see why this is so dirty. This is not the nicest van I've ever worked on. Not the cleanest fan, I should say. Not the cleanest fan I've ever worked on. It's not very nice either. I don't know how to make this any better. Yeah, it's just not a nice fan. Alright, Ryan, you ready? Okay, after getting this out here in the car, you can see with the power hooked up to it, our RPM level is high. So I'm going to show you how to get that fixed. Ryan, come out here and okay, you're filming. Alright. So what we're gonna do, okay, I need the keys to this thing. Where's Key? Ryan, where's Key? I'm guessing this is going to idle around 1,500, no, about 1,000, probably, not even 1,000, so it's about 1,000 high. So all I'm going to do, now this isn't the needle that came on this car, this is a replacement. It's off the Ford, but not this Ford. So if you have a known value, you pull that needle off, you have a known value that your car idles at, then you're going to let it settle down to that idle value, and you're going to set that needle back on there at that value. I'm guessing that's about right. And we should be good. We didn't change any of the other needles, so that should be consistent with wherever the vehicle was when it came in here. And he wasn't complaining about any of the other gauges, so we should be good there. We still have good odometer light. No? Yeah, we do. Okay. Odometer's working, everything's... Look it up one more time, make sure all of our gauges are working properly. Got a check engine light on and a door jar light on. Door jar is door is ajar, so that's not a problem. And the check engine light does not surprise me with this vehicle, so that could be any number of things. Oh, would you quit beeping? Oh man, the key. Lord. There we go. Alright. It's a little funky in here. So as you can see, our shift indicator is better taken off, like with the glass off of the cluster. So, and this thing comes on and off. It's got two little tabs on the side here. You push in on those tabs, and you should be able to get it off. Well, it's on there now, and I'm not going to jack with it because the car's old, and the more you jack with it, the worse things get. And we're going to have to listen to it beep again. So I get the glass in place.
It goes bottom first.
Goes bottom first. Well, let's get it tilted up a little bit so we can get to it a little easier. Ryan took it apart, and I'm trying to put it back together. So
It kind of don't fit. You kind of shove it in there.
yeah, it sure as hell ain't fitting.
It goes bottom first, but
Oh, guess what I found? I think. Yeah. Stuck in that shift indicator. Look real close is what's left of the needle that was broken off. You don't have to get that close in. You don't have to get that close in. So we knocked that off. It's down in the floorboard now. Good Lord, how did you get this in here? Out of here. There we go. Yes, sir, it is possible. All right. Now you got your T15s. There's the bit, Brian.
it's right there.
Killing me, Smalls. Y'all can feel all that father love, father-son love over the internet airwaves, can't you? Putting those T15s I told y'all about earlier back in. And we'll move on to the 7mm. So we're on to the 7mm now. There in the corners. What the deal is with that. There we go. Let's see if we get that one. I think it was lined up quite right. Talk about my little bit here for a minute. That can reach places. Get how long ago we can reach places and flex and get into areas that are otherwise almost impossible to get to. Alright, so we're down to just getting this thing back together. There ain't much to this whole process.
You gotta go lower.
Other than wiggling it in place and getting stuff in there that don't want to go. Alright, put it in there. There we go. Start going crazy. Try to get these air conditioner ducts lined up. And just putting screws in from here, and I'm gonna let Ryan finish that because I'm sweating. And that's my prerogative as a father, not to sweat. Let the boy do it. Alright. Alright. So there's just putting the screws in, getting this back in place, and this beautiful classic Winstar van is finished and functional, and he can continue to haul his pets around. So that's it for the Winstar, and appreciate you guys for sticking around watching the video. And if it helped you out in some way, get down there and like and subscribe if you would. That's all I'm asking of you. And if you need my help with anything, you know where to find me. Until the next one, thanks for watching. Thank you.